The 12 Dancing Princesses by Brothers Grimm. There was once a king who had 12 daughters, each more beautiful than the other. They slept together in one chamber, in 12 beds all in a row, and every night when they were in them the king locked the door and bolted it. But in the morning when he unlocked the door, he saw that their shoes had been danced to pieces, and no one could discover how it had happened. Then the king issued a proclamation that whoever could discover where they danced at night should choose one of them for his wife, and should be king after his death. But whoever came forward and did not succeed, after 3 days and nights, must forfeit his life. It was not long before a king's son presented himself, and offered to undertake the enterprise. He was well received, and at night was taken into a chamber adjoining the princess's sleeping room. His bed was placed there, and he was to watch where they went. And that he might not hear or see them, the door of their room was left open. But the king's son soon fell asleep, and when he awoke in the morning, he saw that the 12 had been dancing, for their shoes were all full of holes. The same thing happened the second and third nights, so his head was struck off without mercy. After many others had come forward in like manner, and had all lost their lives, it happened that a poor soldier who had been wounded and could no longer serve, found himself on the road to the city where the king lived. He met an old woman who asked him where he was going. "I hardly know myself," answered he, and jestingly added, "I had a great mind to discover where the princesses danced their shoes into holes and thus become king." "That is not so difficult," said the old woman. "You must not drink the wine which will be brought to you at night, and you must pretend to be fast asleep." With that, she gave him a cloak and said, "If you wear this, you will be invisible, and you will then be able to follow the princesses wherever they go." When the soldier had received this good advice, he took courage, went to the king, and announced himself as a suitor. He was as well received as the others, and royal garments were put upon him. In the evening at bedtime he was conducted to the antechamber. As he was about to go to bed, the eldest princess came and brought him a goblet of wine, but he had fastened a sponge under his chin and let the wine run down into it without drinking a drop. Then he lay down, and after a while began to snore very loudly, as if he were fast asleep. The 12 princesses laughed when they heard it, and the eldest said he too might have spared his life. Then they got up, opened cupboards, chests and drawers, and brought out splendid clothes, dressed themselves before the mirrors, sprang about, and rejoiced at the prospect of the dance. Only the youngest said, "I know not how it is you are very glad, but I feel very strange. Some misfortune is certainly about to befall us." "You are a goose," said the eldest, "always afraid. Have you forgotten how many kings' sons have already come in vain? I had not even to give the soldier a sleeping draught. The clown would not have wakened if we had shaken him." When they were quite ready, they looked carefully at the soldier, but he had shut his eyes and did not move or stir, so they believed they were safe. The eldest went to her bed and knocked. It opened at once, and they descended through the opening, one after another, the eldest going first. The soldier, who had seen everything, put on his cloak and went down too. In the middle of the stairs he trod on the gown of the youngest, who cried out with fear, "There is something not right. Did not somebody pull my gown?" "Don't be so silly," said the eldest. "You caught it on a nail." So they went down until they came to a splendid avenue of trees, all the leaves of which were of silver, and shone and glittered. The soldier broke off a twig, and there was a loud crack from the tree. The youngest cried out again, "Something is wrong. Did you hear the noise?" But the eldest said, "It is only a shot fired for joy, because we have got rid of our princes so quickly." Then they came into an avenue where all the leaves were of gold, and afterwards into a third where they were of clear diamonds. He broke off a twig from each, and every time there was a loud crack, which made the youngest start with terror. But the eldest still maintained that it was only the shots of joy. They went on until they came to a great lake, and at the shore lay 12 little boats, and in every boat sat a handsome prince who had been waiting for the 12. Each of them took a princess, and the soldier seated himself in the boat with the youngest. Then the prince said, I do not know why the boat is so much heavier today. I shall have to row with all my strength if I am to get across." "What should make it heavier," said the youngest, "but the hot air of the summer night?" On the other side of the lake stood a fine, lighted-up castle from which proceeded the sound of music of clarionets and trumpets. They rowed over, entered, and each prince danced with the princess he loved. The soldier danced likewise, though invisible, and when any of the princesses held a cup of wine, he drank it out, so that it was empty when she carried it to her mouth. The youngest was terrified at this, but the eldest always silenced her. They danced there till 3 o'clock in the morning, when all their shoes were danced to pieces, and they were obliged to leave off. The princes rowed them back again over the lake, and this time the soldier seated himself with the eldest. On the shore they took leave of each other, and the princesses promised to come again the following night. When they reached the stairs, the soldier ran on before and laid himself down in bed. And when the 12 came in slowly and wearily, he snored again very loudly, so that they said, "We are quite safe with him." They took off their beautiful clothes, put them away, placed the worn-out shoes under the beds and lay down. Next morning the soldier said nothing, for he wished to see the wonderful adventure again. The second and third nights he went again, and everything happened as before. Each time he carried away a token. On the third occasion he took a cup away with him. When the hour came for him to give his answer, he brought the 3 branches and the cup before the king. The 12 princesses stood listening behind the door and heard what he said. The king asked, "Where do my 12 daughters dance their shoes to pieces in the night?" He answered, "With 12 princes in a castle underground," and described how he had seen everything and brought the tokens with him. Then the king summoned his daughters and asked them if the soldier had told the truth. They saw that they were betrayed and could deny nothing and were obliged to confess all. Thereupon the king asked which of them he would have to wife. He answered, "I am no longer young, so give me the eldest." So they were married that very day, and the soldier was chosen as the king's heir.